Hi, I'm Pat. I've got the worst mental on a good day, and that's with my pills, which makes playing Marvel Rivals one of the best decisions I've ever made. How could I have ever resisted? It's like Overwatch, but I care about the characters beyond their contributions to SFM and Rule 34. Unfortunately, Marvel Rivals is a competitive game, and with anything competitive, those people are here. It is incredible the people I've met. A guy once told me that I didn't deserve to win and then switched to Widow and proceeded to feed their brains out. Then, another guy in the team asked the Widow if they wanted to duo. That was 5 days ago and I still think about it. In my first comp match, someone said, "Are you guys bots?" And someone replied, "Yeah, they put bots in matchmaking to make us feel better," which was hurtful and inspired me to rethink my stance on doxing. I started thinking about comebacks, such as, "You can't be that good, you're in the same rank as me," and "This is why your mother drinks." I'm not very good at intensity-appropriate responses. The good news is that all of this nonsense didn't really make me smarter in a worse way. I ignored that stuff for the most part and thought about how I could improve myself. I started looking at guides, watching them, read the wiki, which has more information than you would ever see in-game. Life proceeded calmly from that point on until one day. One day I saw a video, thank you algorithm, the truth about Marvel Rivals matchmaking. And that was the beginning of a slippery slope. Marvel Rivals matchmaking is rigged. The truth, rigged, broken, truth. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm ashamed to say this, that it got to my head. I wasn't having the best experience with chat on, and I'd been in Platinum for a while, frustratingly. And honestly, I only thought that the stuff talking wasn't really getting to me. I thought it was ignorable. The thing is, it doesn't really matter how tough your mental strength is. Eventually, if you hear bad stuff all the time, it's gonna get to you. And so I watched a video on how matchmaking could be manipulated, and it got into my head. I watched 2 videos, I think. I looked at the comparison of different kinds of elo rating and matchmaking rating, thanks to Path of Exile 2, which I have a channel on, by the way. And I now have an obsession with studying things, so I know how things work. Because of that one time I didn't read anything, I made a 7-minute video on how I didn't read. I learned a bunch of things, such as the ELO rating system, the thing that they use in chess, which is apparently the king of MMR matchmaking because it really is about skill and adjusts point loss depending on the competitive relativity of either player, which makes so much sense. I was having a grand old time listening to videos and watching stuff and generally learning about how games decide who people fight. But then these words popped up. Engagement optimized matchmaking. Since I am the modern version of a hermit, I have only heard whispers of this madness. Only now was I moved to look into it more. Now, I'm also very stupid. I usually read or listen to a thing halfway through and go, yeah, I got a gist of it, and then assume I understood everything. That's why I always have trouble installing doorknobs. It also doesn't help that a lot of YouTube titles on the topic imply that my reading of it, which was that engagement optimized matchmaking, was not matching me via skill primarily, but via what makes me play more, is generally correct. Even if a lot of those videos actually did end with, "Well, it would make sense, but cannot be confirmed because of personal bias or whatever," the titles of the videos stuck in my head. What entered my head, what stayed in my head, was that yeah, there's skill-based matchmaking in it, but it also tries to frustrate you a little to keep you playing. Because winning too much or too little can drive you away. Yeah, I know, I just said I learned to read more. Learning is not a straight upward slope. It has peaks and valleys. Give me a break. By the way, the word engagement, man, that word is terrible. Engagement before was only a reminder that someone forgot to use protection and got a shotgun pointed at their head. And now there's a wedding. Now it's a reminder that previously creative ventures are just money vehicles, and that the more efficient we get at selling things, the worse and more soulless those things tend to be. Well, at least we're distracted. Thanks 1984 and Brave New World for giving us a blueprint to work towards. Anyway, I digress. The point is, it made me start thinking about gaming the system, which was never the kind of competitor I wanted to be as a kid. But here we are, right? You dream about all the things you wanted to be as a kid. Astronaut, rich, alive. But you grow up and you realize you can be like 6 things if you're lucky. Because you can paint the canvas of the future, but you aren't the only artist around. And that's what I became. Some guy reading a guide about how you should teach the algorithm what you are by quitting when it puts you into cubes you don't like. I watched less guides about positioning and more about gaming the system. And the weird part is I don't know how I got out of my own head. I don't know how I looked at the game again and thought of doing better. I think it might be because I honest to God enjoyed the game. And everything revolving around manipulating the supposed engagement optimized matchmaking, which, by the way, not really confirmed, but people are pretty sure, revolved around not playing the game. That felt stupid. I felt stupid. Why? Because not playing the game isn't going to help me better or have fun. I don't get to practice when I'm not playing. Well, okay, fine. In some way I do. I watch some streamers, watch some videos, and that I can do without playing. But I don't get to have fun. I don't get to load up Luna or Cloak and Dagger or wonder if today is going to be another day that will end with me covered in slurs or I'll run into some genuinely supportive people. So, I re-examined my mental processes. I never descended to the madness of blaming other people because I was raised Catholic, so I'm all about self-flagellation. I never thought that my failures were primarily someone else's fault, but I needed to reaffirm the line of thinking that focuses on my development before I started slipping. Because look, if I were a good player, I would only need to find 5 other good players on my team, and the other team would need to find 6 good players. Which kind of puts a lot of control on me, despite the fact that it's still a 6v6 game. And if I can't get out of Platinum, either I'm having a generational ass run, or I'm the problem. As Sun Tzu once said, if it smells like shit everywhere you go, better check under your shoes. And goddamn, it smells like I'm walking through a herd of cows. I needed to go back to an internal examination and improvement. I have no dreams of going pro, but I do want to do well. I looked at mouse videos to see if my sensitivity is an issue. I warmed up a little, not a lot, before jumping into comps so my hands weren't cold. I tried not to think about how the power relative fluctuates wildly and can shut off at any moment, making me the guy that drops out in the middle of the round. Please donate or subscribe to get me out of here. I studied character quirks, such as the weird quirk Scarlet Witch has, that she also bases some of her damage on the target's maximum health, like Wolverine. I try very hard not to pick characters on goonability. And now here I am. That was a bit of a journey, and fortunately, if that was one that was relatively short, it didn't really affect my life outside the game, which in-game stress and nonsense can do, so watch out for that nightmare. So I was lucky I was shocked out of that spiral and back into healthier mental spaces for competition. I'm still in Platinum, because life is not an anime, and solving mental problems doesn't give you superpowers. It's like taking antidepressants. You don't get super happy unless that's really how you are. You just become more yourself. And for me, bouncing around Platinum is where I belong. That's my normal for now, until I figure out a bit more of the game. I'm unsatisfied. Yeah, but, I'm alright. I'm gonna keep trucking along. I'm gonna try to keep my head above the water and try to not let this happen again. Thanks for watching. I stream on Twitch when the power isn't freaking out too badly. I also make videos in Power of Exile too, as Pat of Exile on the other channel, Pat of Exile. Check it out, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. I'm Patinator. I'll see you later.